Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Todd Rodden. I'm a certified executive and business coach. I own Aspire Action Coach based here in the Dayton and Cincinnati, Ohio areas. I think you're going to love this journey today. RJ Bucler, who is the founder and owner of Wealth Sync Partners. I'm going to tell you a great story of an entrepreneur, former school teacher, transitioned into a business owner now, has built a thriving retirement income planning group based here in the region. You're going to love to learn more about the great services that they provide. So, again, if you're new to the series, we're thrilled to have you join us. We encourage you to hit the subscribe button so you can receive future messages like you're going to hear from RJ today. So, without further ado, RJ, owner, founder, Wealth Sync Partners, welcome to the spotlight. If you could, take a minute, tell us a little bit more about your business and how did you get started in wealth planning?
Yeah, thanks, Todd. I'm super excited to be a part of your video series here in your group. I got started in the financial advisory space back in 2008 as a 20-something-year-old young man. As you said, I was a former teacher and educator. And at that time, what I really wanted to do was just continue to impact the lives of other people. But I quickly shifted from students to people that are seeking help in the financial space. And so about 3 years ago, I left a firm that I was with for many, many years and joined, with some business partners across the country to become our own independent RIA. And here locally in the region, I established and created Wealth Sync Partners. And as you said, we're focusing on retirement income planning and specializing in that space for our current clients and future clients.
Okay. So you hit on a key point, retirement income planning. So maybe if you could share a little bit more, your ideal, your target customer, so folks may be listening in and say, hey, you know what? I should pick up the phone and give you a call.
Absolutely. So we very much believe that when it comes to financial planning, there's really two phases. There's the accumulation phase and then the distribution phase. And over 17 years in practice, there's just some nuances and some differences in the rules on those two different phases. And so we think that the people that we serve the best are going to probably be in that area of age 50 to 55. Maybe they're 10 or 15 years out from when they plan to be retiring. We can serve people that are a little bit closer, but that gives us what we believe to be a pretty good runway to maybe implement some strategies to kind of shift the philosophy around the rules that are associated with accumulation planning versus the rules that are associated with the distribution planning. And so, like I said, 10 years or so out is kind of our sweet spot from when you're planning on retirement. If you can reach out to us at that time, we really feel like we've got a great runway to really be able to help you. We can work with you a little bit closer to that or a little bit beyond that. But if we're talking about sweet spot, that's what I'd offer up, Todd.
Okay, great. And kind of building upon that, what do you think makes you unique, maybe from some other wealth advisors that are out there? Or, what do you wish more people knew about WealthSync?
Yeah, I have operated for the whole time that I've been in the financial advising space under the premise that everybody needs to have good investments that are going to pay them competitive returns. But what I believe we offer that's unique is that just like if you were to go to a PGA Tour event and get a special invitation to play in that event, you probably wouldn't necessarily want to grab the person's clubs, say John Rahm, Brooks Koepka, Scheffler, who's a pretty popular golfer today. You would want to probably have their swing more than you would want to have their clubs, right? And so, what I believe we offer that's unique is that we help people find money that they're maybe losing unknowingly and unnecessarily. And if we can help them with the efficiency in their choices, how they synchronize their financial decisions in their life, we feel like that efficiency can push them over the edge to help them realize more of their unique potential with what their financial resources or their timeline would allow for them.
Okay. Well, I love that. That synchronization kind of ties into the brand and the name as well. So,
Absolutely. There was there's a little bit of intentional thought to that.
I love it when it comes together. So, building upon that, been in it a few years now. What have been your keys to growing the business, acquiring new customers?
Yeah, I mean, the marketplace is changing drastically, right? And so one of the things that I've been most recently focused on is just being in that space of social media, being more intentional about getting out there on LinkedIn, Facebook. We're working on a YouTube channel, Instagram, things like that. And so that's kind of what has been our focus more recently. What I have been able to do successfully to grow my practice from transitioning from a former teacher and math educator to an entrepreneur and a business person is it was a lot of grit and it was a lot of hustle, right? Just observing people may need help and might need the services that we offer, and not being afraid to ask. And so, there was a lot of grit and a lot of hustle at the beginning. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. I was blessed and fortunate to find an advisor who was really trying to segue out of the business and to kind of reach his own retirement phase. And so, what has been very helpful for me, and they're just wonderful relationships. It was probably a handoff that you couldn't say have gone any better, kind of a thing. And so, in addition to developing my own clients that I worked on for 10, 15 years, I was able to find a really good match with an advisor that sought something different with the rest of his life. And it afforded me the opportunity to have a lot of warm contacts and relationships to be able to engage with them in the way that we help our clients.
Okay. So you mentioned, thank you for sharing that, by the way. You mentioned you're putting more in focus, being more intentional with social media. You mentioned multiple different channels. Is there one in particular, one strategy that either has generated the most for you or you're most excited about going forward?
I would say I would probably choose to answer that question under the most excited about going forward part of it. I would say it's probably the YouTube channel. Been working with a marketing team to kind of help me, frame my mind of how we go to market on these things. And so I would encourage any of your business owners, don't try to be the expert at everything, right? My area of expertise is, I love and I'm very passionate about helping people synchronize those financial decisions, right? And so a couple of years ago, I made the decision that, I can't be, the expert at everything, or I can't be everything to all people. And so I'm really excited about that YouTube channel and the support that marketing team, has been providing me around that project.
Okay. Thank you for that. Appreciate that forward-looking view. And yeah, so many folks just try to be the jack of all trades, and it ends up just wearing them out and not being effective. So appreciate that. So you've been in the industry now 17 years. You started 2008, which interesting time to start
Yeah.
in financial services. And then obviously eventually branched out with your own business, as you mentioned. But I'm curious, on that journey, especially in the business ownership side of it, what's been a past challenge that you had to overcome, and what did you learn from that?
Yeah, so my journey as a financial professional, I would describe it as, I was a one-man shop. I did everything from make the outbound sales phone calls to having the first introductory meeting to, putting the plan together to doing the paperwork and things like that. So one of the first hurdles that I ran into was just learning the art of delegation and identifying talent and putting good people around you that love the details. I obviously, being a math guy, I love the details too. But one of the first challenges that I had was just being willing to bring that support in around me, and then identify those things in a best case scenario or a best use scenario that really just wasn't the best use of my time anymore. And then finding those people that were really good at those things and surrounding me with that talent.
Okay. Yeah. Even though just because you're good at it doesn't mean you should be doing it. Right. I mean,
Yeah, and I would react to that, Todd, perfectly in alignment with what you just said. I think part of the growth curve that I've experienced is coming to grips with and being okay that even though you do something well, you may not be putting yourself in the position to be the best version of who your clients need you to be or who other people need you to be. And
Mhm.
so to to be able to grow, you have to be willing to, in my opinion, let go of some of those things so that you can start to focus on what it truly is that might be your unique ability or your unique talent, or two things that might be your unique talents. And so that process of becoming comfortable to let some of those things go was probably my biggest first hurdle.
Yeah, let's go a little deeper there because you talked about how you were a one-man shop, which is very common for a lot of early entrepreneurs. Eventually, you had to make that leap, to hire that first person or get that first support person. How'd you get yourself over that hurdle?
Yeah. So I was blessed. I love where I'm at today. The independence factor, having my own firm, having my own brand. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that there were some advantages that I had when I first came into this business. I was part of another firm, and within that firm, there was human capital. There were people that were good at different things. And I was able to find somebody within the firm that was just looking to make a transition. Um, Changing job careers or things like that. And she was coming back to part time. So my very first hire was just a simple part time person, 3 days a week. It was on an hourly type structure. And from there, I grew from one part time person to two part time people to where we are today. We have three full time people that are employed and compensated by WellSync Partners. And we've got one other advisor in addition to myself as a senior wealth advisor that's running their practice under the umbrella of WealthSync Partners. And one of those full-time people that I have on the team today, he's an associate advisor and he's licensed. And so we're grooming him and we're training him over the last 2 years to become more responsible for different parts or processes in the financial planning experience that our clients go through.
Hey, thank you for going a little bit deeper on that. Again, I always love to hear that first hire is always, and those first few adds to the team, always very instrumental and usually a lot of learnings. And I'm curious now as you look forward, what's the key challenge you see in front of you for Wealth Sync or for yourself as the leader?
Yeah, I think as you grow, right, and you need to clearly set what you want the vision to be. You can't just grow without a thought or an idea ahead of you of where you want to go. Um, what we've really worked on a lot in the last 2 years is just the internal infrastructure for us to communicate more effectively across different parts of the process as a team with our clients as we walk them through that financial planning experience. And so, the word scale has been something that I've been thinking a lot about lately. We've invested a lot of capital, time, and energy into just building the technology around us and the infrastructure around us with the human capital aspect of things that is so important, but then the right tools and technologies to be able to make your practice run more efficiently, to communicate to your client base more efficiently. And so, we've not been afraid to embrace technology. And so I think our biggest challenge on a go forward basis is to just stay focused on that and then continue to pursue fine tuning that in an excellent way.
Okay. What have been your keys for that? Because sometimes folks are a little leery of making a big technology change, can come sometimes with some unexpected consequences. So, how have you been working through that and to make sure, hey, the tools do what we hope they do, and the team is actively using them?
Yeah. But none of this goes without oversight and management, right? And so, having the people on the team that I have and developed a sense of confidence and trust in them as they worked with me or for our firm over 9 months, 12 months. I just continue to kind of identify a book that I read just with Dan Sullivan, the book Who Not How. And so it was not as scary of a lift for me to tackle those things because I had multiple people that were part of that process. And so it gave me the courage to go out and make those investments, right? I listen to another podcast a lot of times by Craig Groeschel. I believe the church that he leads is called Life Church, if
Yep.
I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And so, one of the podcasts, I've been trying to catch up through that series going back to when he first started it. I'm a sequential guy. I don't want to go to the most recent one. I want to listen to it in order. But he said, one of the things that impedes growth is not being willing to make the investments that you need to make. Right? Under resourcing is one of the other threats. Over resourcing is another threat. And being too risk averse is one of the four that if I recall from one of the more recent podcasts that I listened to. And so I would say it's the people that are around me and have been around me that gave me that confidence. And it's also just, again, the book by Dan Sullivan, Who Not How. I've hired in some consultants as well to help me with those things. Otherwise, you never get those things off the ground and it never reached the point of lift. And then you're just still left in the same place that you were 2 years ago, 5 years ago, so on and so forth.
Okay. Hey, excellent examples. All right. Both the price of under resourcing, also good over a resource as well, but not taking those risks. A minute or so ago, you mentioned the importance of having a clear vision. So, what's your vision, future growth of Wealth Sync Partners?
Yeah, having had the experience of 17 years in this business, the last 3 or so with the brand of Wealth Sync Partners, before that it was RJ Bucler Financial. But I made the decision in those earlier years of transition that I didn't want it to be about me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a former, math teacher, so education is at my core. I'm also a former coach. I spent some time coaching, freshman basketball and other youth programs throughout my life. And so coaching is at my core. And last but not least, I have a lot of my success that I should attribute it to my parents, my father and my mother. My father was a basketball coach, still is to this day. I played college basketball after I graduated high school. And so where I'm at now in my entrepreneur journey is that I absolutely love working with clients, but I wanted to build a firm, a destination, if you will, that advisors could solely and exclusively focus on just taking care of their clients. And so I've been really building with the team around me. We've really been building what we hope to become a destination place for advisors to come and just do what they love doing best, which is love on their clients and take care of their clients. And so in the advisory space, you need to provide care to your clients over many years. And so you can't just keep adding on new relationship after new relationship after new relationship, right? You reach a point of capacity eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so passionate about our philosophy and how we try to go about helping people. Again, finding those inefficiencies, finding those places that people might not be getting the best use of their dollars, and helping bring it back to them, and to create greater impact in their own future. I believe so much in that philosophy that I wanted to build a destination that someone could come in, and if they too believed in that philosophy, they could just come in, plug into our technology, plug into our resources, plug into our real estate, plug into our portfolios that we have professional research teams help us with. And they'd have a great place to just love on their clients and take care of the people that matter most to them.
Okay. So really having that client focus, and almost it becomes an attraction mechanism for great advisors to want to come and be part of your team as well, right?
Yeah, I would say to put it maybe a little bit more succinctly, I want Wealth Sync Partners to be able to impact the families that want that impact, right? And so for me to be able to do that, we have capacity, for me as an advisor to take on some new clients. But at some point in the future, don't know when that is, and that's okay. You might hit that ceiling. And so being that I have the coaching in my background, the teaching in my background, I just have had this vision to want to be able to kind of provide some mentorship or provide a place that just makes your practice as a financial advisor just run so much more smoothly.
So you mentioned before your team, right? You got three other full-time, another advisor as well. It kind of builds on what you just shared. So what have been other keys you've had to finding that great talent to come into the organization? So many organizations right now are starved to struggle with finding, folks who are the great fit into the organizations.
Yeah, I would say that as you grow, don't expect it to be perfect, right? And that's okay. Um, I have people on our team now that they've taken the place of other people that have either retired or moved on or done different things. And so my encouragement to other entrepreneurs is don't expect it to be perfect. Actually expect it to be, some bumps in the road or some potholes in the road. And because it'll make it that much easier when those situations happen to just face it head on and address it. But I would say, we talk to our clients. Hey, this is the kind of role that we're looking for. We're looking to grow the team. At the end of the day, this is going to help you as a customer of ours, as a client of ours, have a much greater experience. And so we've utilized our existing clients to help with that. Um, you know, I've been lucky and blessed that that is really kind of the way that I found everybody on the team is through existing client conversations, family and friends, other networking relationships that you have, other business owners that maybe you're just in a roundtable with. Hey, this is where my firm's at. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm looking for. If you know anybody that might be a good fit for something like that, please let me know.
Great examples, right? Everyone, I think, not everyone, but many folks fall trapped that, well, hey, I'm just going to post it on Indeed or something like that. It's like, no, you might get lucky, but that's not probably where you're going to find those great fits, right?
Yeah, I would say those, and I don't know if this is the right phraseology to use, but those centers of influence type relationships, or even just respected business acquaintances that at the end of the day, you're all trying to make an impact in the communities that you serve. Just letting them know that you're seeking help. If you let people know enough, there's a lot of people out there that do really want to help.
Yeah.
And so my encouragement is to not be shy in that regard.
So RJ, you've already shared several key, I think, lessons learned on Journey Back Cruise. What would you consider your keys to success on your journey so far? Or maybe it's a little bit of, boy, I wish I knew that then that I know now.
Um, I'll probably go to the I wish I knew that then, versus now kind of a thing. I did learn it eventually, but the idea of really reflecting on what your unique ability is or what your unique talent is. And again, I'll reference the book. I would encourage any business owner to read it. It's Dan Sullivan's Who Not How. Work through finding what sets you on fire the most and what creates the most passion in your life. Because the more excitement you have, the more energy you have, the better you're going to be at whatever it is that you're trying to go after and do. And so I wish I would have known this then versus knowing it now. I wish I had made that commitment earlier in my business cycle and in my business life to be more intentional around building those people out around me on my team. I think that patience is really important. But if I were to look back and say, I wish I would have changed things a little bit, I wish I would have maybe looked to hire that first full-time person faster than I ever did.
Okay. Yeah. Hire faster. Great. Excellent advice there. So our time flies in these conversations, RJ. So I'm curious as we go to wrap up, what are the best ways for folks to learn more about WealthSync Partners and to stay connected with you and the firm?
Yeah, so we definitely have a WealthSync Partners business Facebook page. We have a WealthSync Partners business LinkedIn page. I've got my own personal pages, obviously, RJ Bucler. We do have, there's not a ton of content out there right now, but there is a little bit of content that just kind of talks about our philosophy and just some different things around that on YouTube. Wellsing Partners has a YouTube channel. That is something that we're going to be looking at, whether it's through the end of this year or maybe we kick that off at the beginning of next year. We're going to be more intentional about putting things out there like that. And then, as everybody does or has, we have our wellsingpartners.com, our website.
So RJ, appreciate you sharing that. I encourage all the listeners to go check out your social media as well as your website as you shared. Those will all be in the show notes below for all the viewers also. So RJ, as we look to wrap up here today, what are you inspired by?
Um, at this stage of my career, I'm still a young man. Hopefully that comes across on video. um, at this stage of my career, I'm inspired by doing well with other people around me. It's been so fun in the last 2 years as we've built out this team, and it doesn't go without its challenges, right? I would be falsifying, entrepreneurship if I didn't say that. But what inspires me today is making an impact in other people's lives with a team around you.
Yeah. The true measure of any of us is how we impact those around you. So I think you said that extremely well. So, and you gave many examples of that throughout the conversation we just had as well. So thank you so much, RJ Bucler. So founder, owner, WealthSync Partners. Thanks for sharing your entrepreneurial story, your lessons learned, and to our viewers. We're grateful to have you join us here today. Again, we encourage you to hit the like button. That helps us share the message more broadly. And again, if you haven't already, hit subscribe so you can receive future messages like you heard from RJ here today. With that, I hope you all have a terrific day. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.